My name is Barbara Lewis Green, and I am a contractor with MCPS. I teach mindfulness and restorative practices, and I feel really appreciative to be here with you today. So thank you for logging in. Before we get started, I want to invite you to pause if you need to, and just make sure that you have a little time and a space set up where you can settle in and we can really be here together. So if you need to, I invite you just to pause, settle, and then play again. Okay, let's get started. So I think you all know that life can get really stressful and feel very uncertain. And when this happens, we can really struggle with some strong emotions, some difficult feelings, and sometimes that can be really uncomfortable. Sometimes there's so much change going on and it's hard to know what's going on, and that can be really scary. Right now you might be feeling mad, you might be feeling lonely, you could be feeling sad, maybe you feel overwhelmed or stressed, or just you're not sure how you feel. And today we're going to spend a little bit of time to talk about, first of all, it's completely normal to feel all of those feelings. Feelings are feelings, and they come up and we feel them. And it's important that we feel them. And I want to just remind you, it's normal. And today we're going to talk about how can you take care of yourself when you're having these strong and difficult emotions. So I'm going to invite you to start building a self-care and kindness toolkit. And we'll get started by doing a little practice right now. Let's go ahead and check in with ourselves and see how we're feeling in this moment. So I invite you to either, maybe you're laying down on the ground on a blanket or a mat, or you can be sitting in a chair, or you can be standing. It doesn't matter. Wherever you are, I invite you to feel your feet on the ground. Really just feel your feet touching the ground, being supported from underneath. And then I invite you to feel your body in the chair or on the ground or below you if you're standing. Feel the support from below. I invite you to have a straight spine, so you're sitting up straight, not really upright and rigid, but just a relaxed attention, something that really honors you, that's dignified, respectful to who you are. You're sitting here with a strong back and an open heart. You can kind of imagine that there might be a string at the top of your head. It's like pulling you upwards. And this just helps energy to flow through our body. I invite you to take a breath. Notice your breath. You don't have to do anything special. Just notice your in-breath. Notice your out-breath. And I invite you to check in with yourself. How are you feeling right now? What's going on inside of you? Do you know how you're feeling? And we're going to talk about that a little bit more later. But just right now, do you notice any sensations? Do you notice if you're anxious or angry? Or are you feeling good today? Feelings are changing all the time. Just invite you to notice in this moment, how are you doing? Now I invite you to take 3 deep breaths. We're going to come back to this exercise. What we've just done is we practiced just grounding ourselves, paying attention to ourselves, honoring who we are and where we are in this moment, and feeling what we feel. It's normal, and also it can be really tricky. A lot of times people might not like it when they feel a really strong and difficult emotion. Maybe you don't like it that you feel angry, or you don't like it if you feel sad. So sometimes what we do is we try to push it away, push the feeling away, and pretend we don't feel that way. Or sometimes we act it out. Have you ever said or done something when you're mad that later you wish you hadn't done? I have. It's okay. It's normal and it's human. And today I want to talk about other options that we have. How can we feel what's going on inside of us and learn to not act it out and not to ignore it? So this is a practice and it takes time. And we're going to go through 6 different practices that will help to build a self-care and kindness toolkit that you can use anytime, anywhere. Please remember that not all practices work for everybody. And so the invitation is for you to try different things out and to play with them and experiment and find out what works best for you. Okay? So I'm going to ask you just to have an open mind, an open heart, and a little curiosity and playfulness. So the first practice is building on the one that we just did. I want to invite you to remember you can ground yourself whenever you start to feel like you're out of sorts and you're struggling with a strong emotion. So what we do is, remember, we feel our feet on the ground. We notice our body on the chair or on the blanket or wherever you are, or if you're standing, just feel your feet below you. And then you notice what it is you're feeling. So we just went through that. And then the next 2 bits that I wanted to mention are, it's very healthy to name how you're feeling. So maybe you say, I am mad. I am sad. I feel lonely. I feel scared. I feel anxious. Just naming the feeling can really be helpful to lessen the emotion and the feeling a little bit. And then maybe ask yourself the question, what do I need? What do I need? I'm feeling this way. It doesn't feel good. What do I need to take care of myself? Maybe you need to take a break. Maybe you need to take a nap. Maybe you need food. Maybe it'd be helpful to talk to someone. Maybe it would be helpful to read a book. I don't know what the answer is, but if you ask yourself that question after you've taken a moment to settle, then you will know what you need. And if you need help, maybe you could ask a trusted adult. So that is grounding ourselves, noticing how we're feeling, naming how we're feeling, and then asking ourselves what we need. The second practice, I want to invite you to move your body. Our bodies like to be in movement so that things can flow and not get stuck. I want to introduce 2 very simple practices that you can do, again, anytime, anywhere. Every day you want to make sure you're moving your body in 6 directions. So we're going to take a moment and we're going to move forward and back, right, left, and we're going to twist right, left. So I invite you to go ahead and do this with me. I'm going to turn to the side, and we can take an in-breath, inhale, and on the next exhale, we'll just fold our bodies forward. Remember, it doesn't matter how far you go. Pay attention to how your body feels. You don't want to have any pain, and just trust yourself, okay? So when you inhale, exhale, and we'll start to go forward. Maybe you just go right here and your hands are on your thighs, or maybe you want to go a little bit lower or all the way to your toes and floor. It's not a contest. It doesn't matter how far you go. Next in-breath, I invite you to come up, and then I invite you to go ahead and bend back. Please be careful not to throw your neck back. Keep your spine straight. And just see if you can glance up at the ceiling. And we'll just repeat that again one more time. Go forward. Inhale. Then invite you to lean back. Inhale. Okay, you can stay right where you are. This time we're gonna go to the right and the left. So I invite you, just your right hand, you can slide it down your right leg. And we're just stretching out. Hopefully you might feel a good stretch on the side of your body. Try not to let this part of your body collapse. We just want to stretch out a bit. And we can inhale and then exhale and slide our left hand down our left leg. Inhale to the right. If you're doing this at home and you have more time, you can do this as much as you want, for as long as you want, while it's feeling good. I'm just repeating each 2 times. Inhale. Now, one of my favorites is now we're going to twist right and left. So you can just let your arms go and twist. If you're doing this with someone else, I encourage you to be mindful and pay attention so you don't hit them. But this is really wonderful for the inner body. Our organs get a great massage when we're twisting like this. So again, if you're at home, I invite you to do this as long as you like, just to get some energy going and moving, and it feels really good to your body. Okay, have fun with that one. The second movement I want to explain is really simple. I want to invite you just to shake things out. See, sometimes when we're struggling with difficult emotions, they can get stuck in our body. And all we can do sometimes is just move, and then we can move them. And we don't even know how it works, and we don't need to. But moving our bodies can help move energy and get things out and help us to feel better. So I invite you to shake however you like, okay? So pretty simple, and you can do that on your own time, anywhere, indoors or outdoors. Okay. The third practice for your self-care and kindness toolkit. It's nice, especially when we're home a lot and we might be struggling with all of the different things we need to do, to find some balance. And we can practice and have some fun with remembering balance by practicing being in a tree kind of pose. So I want to teach it to you. You can, if you'd like to, just keep your toes on the floor, or if you like, once you feel that your left foot is rooted down and you really feel it solid on the ground, you could bring your right foot up. And if you lose your balance, it's okay. And then you come right back and you get balance. And then if you want, you can go ahead and put your hands up here by your heart. Or you could even experiment with having branches on your tree. This helps us to just focus, feel how we're feeling in our body. And it reminds us to have some balance in our day and in our activities. When we're practicing in this way and we're balanced, we always want to practice on both sides. So after you do that on one side, I invite you to try it on the other. And it might feel similar and it might feel different. So I invite you to notice that. So again, if you want, you can just plant your right foot and then have your toes of the left foot on the ground. Or when you're ready, go ahead and bring your foot up, and you might feel balanced or maybe not. It doesn't matter. The fun thing about this is it doesn't matter. And if you fall over, like, woo, that's okay, because that's part of life, right? Not everything works right. And we want to remember that we can begin again. So this is a practice of beginning again. And if you want, you can bring your hands together at your center or just put them at your heart center. And if you want, again, you could put branches up, whatever you want. Remember, falling down and getting back up again, that's a big part of growing and learning and taking risks. And this tree pose is a fun way to play with that and practice. And I gave you a couple examples of falling over and starting again. So I hope you'll have fun with that. I'm gonna sit down and we've got 3 more quick practices for you. The next one is I wanna remind you to remember to play and laugh in really healthy ways. There are a lot of simple games that you can play at home that maybe you forgot, because sometimes people call them old-fashioned. Does anyone remember the game I Spy? where you see something in the room or out the window and you say, I spy something blue, you know, that can be fun. So maybe you want to try these old-fashioned games, or maybe you could play musical chairs, or maybe you could play charades. So maybe you have board games at home and you want to do that, and maybe you can be creative and make up your very own game. I want to encourage you to remember to play and laugh, because it really does help us to take care of ourselves and lighten up and loosen up. So hopefully those are a fun few ideas for you. The next one, our fifth self-care and kindness practice for the toolkit, is a self-love shower. So I invite you to do this with me. I invite you to put your hands together and rub. And what we want to be doing is just be creating a little bit of heat and friction as we rub our hands together. So have some fun doing that, okay? Our hands are energy that's coming from our heart center. So just think about that. Think about all the love that you're generating as you're rubbing your hands together. And then in a moment, I want to invite you to go ahead and put your hands right over your eyes and feel the heat that you've generated. And remind yourself that you want to be kind to yourself and kind to those around you and kind to those that you connect with on technology. And then all that love that you've generated, you can just give yourself a little shower, rub your body, rub your arms. I know that this sounds a little silly, and when I'm working with students and teachers, I always tell them they can laugh when we're doing these activities. Sometimes taking care of ourselves, people think it's kind of weird, but actually it can really help, especially when we're struggling. So I encourage you to try them out, even if you're laughing and think they're silly. The last practice that I want to teach you today is a reminder to say some really loving and kind things to yourself. So maybe you want to put your hands on your legs or on your chair or on the ground if you're on the ground. Or maybe you want to put your hands on your heart. It's whatever you choose. For now, I'll just put my hands on my legs. And I'm going to say a few sentences, and I want to invite you to repeat them. And these are kindness wishes that you're sending to yourself. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I be strong. May I be at peace. May I feel joy. And now I want to invite you to think about someone that you care about. Maybe in your family, maybe a friend. Maybe they're with you and maybe they're not. And let's send them some kindness. So now I'm going to say some sentences and invite you to repeat them with this person in mind. Maybe it's one of your teachers. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be strong. May you be at peace. May you feel joy. I am so grateful for the time that we spent together, and I hope that you'll refer to this resource as often as is helpful to you. I really encourage you to start with these ideas and these practices and have fun building your own self-care and kindness toolkit that you can use as a resource to you anytime, anywhere. Remember, it's completely normal to have strong and difficult emotions and feelings. And you are okay, and you can handle them. And there are a lot of resources available if you need some help, so please reach out if you do. And remember that you have a lot already inside of you to take care of you. So in closing, my wish for you is to remain curious, remain kind, and be well. Thank you.